It says I'm sharing somewhere else. I don't know where it thinks I'm sharing. Okay, so let's do this.
Now we can.
Awesome.
Leslie Jasam Sampson is an associate practitioner of family systems engineering, a self-leadership coach, and founder of Lit Lambs, a transformational platform dedicated to helping parents build intentional homes and raise purpose-driven children. Not your typical parenting educator, Leslie is a project management professional with a background in software engineering, civil engineering, and technical product management. She brings a unique systems thinking approach to parenting and family leadership, helping parents move beyond reactive parenting into intentional home leadership. Through her teachings, coaching programs, and tools, Leslie empowers parents to build systems and structures that create consistency, clarity, and intentional growth within the family. Her work focuses on helping families cultivate healthy values, strong family identity, and strong family culture for purposeful living. Leslie is a wife and mother of 3 adorable children. As both a teacher and practitioner, she brings practical wisdom and real-life insight into the families she serves.
So yeah, I guess I'm going to be welcoming myself at this point. So I'm Leslie Sampson, and we're here to talk about understanding your temperament. Now, why are we talking about you, temperament, culture, definitions? If you were here from yesterday, we started talking about understanding humanity as a whole. Then we try to poke into certain culture and certain definitions that we have held on to that we probably didn't even know where it came from. In fact, let me even step back a bit. Someone defined culture as the way of life of a people at a particular time. So we are living in a different time, but we are holding on to the way of life of dead people. And it's disempowering us, it's threatening our relationships, it's threatening the way we are seeing life. We moved on. Emily Sarah just talked about our engineering, the things that came into work. So why are we having all of these conversations? And now I'm here, I'm about to talk about understanding your temperament. Why are we having all of these conversations? Yet we called each and every one of us to talk about building a healthy family. We called each and every one of us to talk about understanding marriage, understanding how to choose a partner that suits you. Now, this is because at the center of a relationship, whether it's an engagement or marriage, is you, is the individual at the center of the relationship. So you bring yourself, you bring your beliefs, you bring your wounds, you bring your trauma, you bring your joys, you bring your successes into a relationship so that a relationship is working, is that we have an individual who has learned how to be working. We have 2 individuals who have learned how to work on themselves. That a marriage is working is that we have 2 individuals who have learned how to understand themselves and live together. That a relationship is not working is that we have 2 individuals who do not understand how to make their own personal lives work. So now we're talking about understanding your temperament. At the foundation of any healthy relationship or any healthy marriage is an understanding of self first. And that's why we started with all those conversations. At the foundation of every healthy marriage is an understanding of self. Why do you need to understand yourself? You know, people get into marriage or people think that they are ready for marriage when they feel that, okay, I can now take care of myself, I can now pay my bills. When I'm of age to get married. That's when people think that they are ready for marriage. But before you want to even consider marriage, you want to ask, do I know me? Do I know what makes me happy? Do I know what makes me flourish? Do I know what diminishes me? Because if you're not clear on what all those things are, fire extinguisher. That person is holding is your fire extinguisher. It is when you start to experience that this person is extinguishing your fire, you begin to scream. But if you know yourself well enough, at a reasonable distance, you'll be able to tell that this thing, this behavior, or this character, or this attitude, or this filter, the way this person looks at life, if the person comes to me, he would extinguish or she would extinguish my fire. If you do not know yourself well enough, you will not be able to see things that match you. There are people who chase away the very people that could make them bloom, because they've not been able to identify themselves. You don't know what triggers you. So you keep tolerating things and people around you that keep messing your life around. Look, we all have things that make us spark. We all have things that help us flourish. We all have things that drains us. So imagine getting entangled with your drainer. Now, not because this person is a bad person. No. It's completely different. Something might empower you. We even talked about, when we talked about culture, do you know that some of those definitions, there are people who have no problem with it. They've been living with it and their marriage has been flourishing. Now, that is them. Do you know what is your own? Do you have your own definition of certain things that helps you thrive? So number one of a healthy relationship is an understanding of self. Then number two is an understanding of people. I didn't say your spouse. I didn't say your partner. I said people. Why do you need to understand people? Because you're literally non-existent without people. What are you here? What am I speaking? Because you're here listening to me. We thrive on our relationships with people, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your children, or your boss, or the person you're going to buy something from. We thrive, your teachers in school or wherever, your neighbors. We thrive by relating with people in one way or the other. I know that maybe some experiences some of us might have had. You just go, please, I'm not a people person. I like to mind my business. How has it helped you? So you see that no matter how much you like to mind your business, there are still people, you still have to interact with somebody. You're not the only one on earth. So for you to be able to interact well with people, you need to understand people. You need to understand why they act the way they do. Because if you do not understand people, you might keep misunderstanding people. And that's where problems start. What is a misunderstanding? You're not misunderstanding your table. You're not misunderstanding the Bible. You're misunderstanding a human being. So it makes sense to start to understand people, because you see, that's your spouse in the house that you have gotten married to, or the person you're looking to get married to. You need to understand that person. But then you don't start understanding that person because you married the person. The relationship skills that you need to thrive in marriage, which is understanding, you build it first by how you have been understanding every other person around you. So first, remember, an understanding of yourself is important. You want to fall in love with understanding people. When somebody does something, whatever the person has done, whether good or bad, or the behavior the person has shown, is information for us to seek understanding. But the problem is that if we have not wired our brain to be intrigued about understanding people, when somebody does something, we rather take it and use it as a label against them. This person is just careless. Meanwhile, the person has just done something. You could have taken it, and if the person is always doing that thing, gather it as information. How can I use this to understand what makes this person do this thing? Because in that you're learning that person, it will help you deal with another person that you probably met that is now showing such characteristics. You need to understand how to work with your boss. Some of us are having issues at work, not because our bosses are wicked, but because we don't know how to work with them. So you want to invest time in understanding people, because the relationship skills you build while understanding people would help you thrive better in marriage. Your spouse is not the only spouse that behaves the way he's behaving. There are to your type of spouse, and they are living happily. So what's missing is understanding. Now think about it. Is there somebody you like to spend time with? I'm not talking of based on marriage relationship now, like you have a friend you like to chat with, very a little time you want to call the person, or when you call the person, even if it's once in a while, you stay long on the phone with the person. Think about it. What makes that happen? You understand the person or the person understands you. We will say it. Like there are people, you just fall in love with anybody who understands you. Like, oh my God, I like the way you just understand me. So can you see that what makes marriage work is understanding? And like I said, you're not trying to understand your house. You want to understand the very person you're living with, which brings me to number 3, understanding your partner. Very important. You want to understand what makes your partner act this way. The problem, I will repeat, is that when your partner shows up or behaves in a certain way, you use the behavior as a weapon. You use the behavior either as a weapon against the person, or you begin to use the behavior as a weapon against yourself. That you're always doing this to me. To me, the person is just being his own. So, understanding people, yes, but you want to understand that partner. Very important, because you're going to be living in the same house, building a family, raising children together. And let me say this before I move to the next slide. You don't say, I know myself, and it has ended, full stop. Neither do you say, I understand my spouse, and it has ended, full stop. Because if you listen through Emily Sarah's session, you will see that significant emotional experiences, environment does something to people. And we have not stopped having emotional experiences. We have not stopped living in different environments. If you move out of your current environment today and go and live in another environment, maybe you now travel to Iraq and begin to stay in Iraq, do you know that it will affect you? You begin to behave and think and act differently. People evolve. So at the foundation of a healthy relationship is to understand whether you're evolving and what you're evolving into. So you see, understanding of self and understanding of your spouse is not one-off. Experiences, children come, things change. You even look at yourself. There are people that when they look at themselves as parents, they begin to ask, please, where was I? Like, where was the single me? Where was the childhood me? Because whether you like it or not, these experiences cause a different version of you to show up. So in marriage, you don't want to stop at the version of your spouse or your partner you knew when you were engaged. You don't want to stop there. You want to get into the arts of or the science of understanding your partner. In fact, I don't have authority to change the marriage vows or to update it. But if you ask me, I would love to add one small statement in that marriage vow. Are you committing to understand me all the days of your life? And then let the response be, yes, I do. What is the problem in marriage? Misunderstanding. Just break it. Misunderstanding. You misunderstanding the person. That's what it is. So one of the things that we must commit to, because things change people, pressure changes people, fear changes people. Can I tell you, success also changes people. Maybe not the word change, but it causes people to evolve. Let me move on. So let me also tell you, very interesting. In fact, let's do this in the chat box. Give me what is the number on my screen. And you're permitted to say only one number. What is the number that you see on my screen? Where is my chat? You could hear me because I didn't even confirm. Okay, thank you. Somebody said 6. Beautiful, 6. What can you see on my screen? 9. Awesome. 9, please, I want to see only one. No, you can't say 2 numbers. Only one number that you can see on my screen. 9, 6, thank you. And can I tell you, you are all correct. Because what's on my screen? If you said 6, you were correct. If you said 9, you were correct. So why am I saying this? We see things not as they are, in quotes. We see things through our own wiring. She talked about filters. We see things through our filters. So if I wear a dark colored lens, everything I'm seeing is dark. Then you that you're wearing a red colored lens, everything you're seeing is red. Now, if we want to base our union on who is right or what is right, think about what will be happening in that home. Now, let's say this is husband and wife. Now, they are so fixated on doing, in quotes, the right thing. So if they want to base that relationship on doing the right thing, please answer me in the chat. What do you think will be happening in this house? Quarrel, my sister. Please continue. I want to see. What do you think will be happening in this house? Chaos. Please continue. One more, then we move. No peace. So can you see that? For a relationship to work, you cannot be fixated on being right. Now, the lady standing here is seeing a 6. She is right. But if she understands that we see things based on our own wiring, by the time her partner turns and say, but on this matter, I see a 9, she will not start fighting him that you're every time you don't see well. It will be a matter of, well, from my perspective, I see a 6, but I could be wrong. Now, tell me about it. How come you're seeing a 9? Can you see that situations at home should make us seek understanding and not prove a point? If you understand that people see things through their wiring, you're seeing things through your wiring, your partner is seeing something through his wiring, whenever you see something, it should not be a matter of, I'm correct, you're wrong. I know somebody asked sort of a question like that yesterday when, like, she said she's always saying the right, or saying she's giving the right, I know she was talking about suggestions to her husband and he's not taking it. He is right in his own eyes. That same way you are feeling very right is the same way he's feeling very right. So at that point, it's not a matter of who is most right. It's a matter of, can we understand our perspectives? Another thing, how we as human beings, me inclusive because I'm human, see people, is that we see ourselves from the eyes of mercy and see others from the eyes of judgment. Let me give an instance. If, let's say, throughout this week, I've been very busy, I've had a busy week, a hectic week, I'm going out every day, I have deadlines to meet. So each day I come back spent. I throw my wig here, I throw my shoe here. For the past 1 week, I haven't even got the time to wash my underwear. I just get into the bathroom, boom, I've batted, I'm out again. The whole house is scattered. My kitchen, in fact, I've been buying food for the whole family to eat. Can you see how I described it? If I was to describe my experience in this week, if somebody should ask me, how are you? How was your week? Or somebody comes into my house and is disorganized, I will begin to tell the person how this week has been so hectic. I've had a lot to do. But guess what? If I had a roommate and that roommate was to experience me throughout that 1 week of me messing around the house, of me throwing things around, of me not washing my underwear, of me not cooking, of me, not cleaning. I leave the house every day. I eat, I drop my plate, I walk out. How do you think that roommate would describe me? What do you think the roommate would say? Like, what's all this? Is it that common underwear you cannot wash? You're so careless. So you would even eat and drop the plates. So can you see? Can you just see? That's the same things, the same scenario, the same behavior, everything. But if I was to describe my own self, I would describe myself and my actions from the eyes of understanding, mercy. I would give myself excuses. I'll give excuses for myself. But if another person does the exact same thing that I did, it will be labels. It will be judgments. The same thing happens in every relationship. In fact, this is a normal human behavior. If you don't begin to catch yourself when you're doing it, it's a normal human behavior. You've been back to back on meetings the whole week. You're always on your phone. You're always, like you need your partner to understand that this is your reality this week. The pressure is high. But then imagine if it was your partner back to back on his phone, you're talking, he's not answering. Before you know, he has left the house, and it happens over and over again. What would be your judgment of that character? So can you see why it's important to even understand ourselves, to know that if it's me, truly, I will be judgmental to another person. So let me ask you one question. I want to look at the chat again. When have you judged what you did not understand or what you refused to understand very recently. It could be somebody that you know, a family member, your partner, your spouse, a colleague, or even your boss. This boss likes to just put somebody under pressure. That's what employees are seeing. Meanwhile, from the boss perspective, he's seeing that numbers are running low. He may not be able to pay you salary, so he has to work harder. So where do you think you might have? Let me see. I might not be able to take all so that we don't take too much time. Or let me leave you to reflect in your hearts. It's going to take you time to type. Where have you judged what you did not understand recently? Because check it. That your spouse, you're complaining. Could it be that you're judging because it is not you? Could it be that you're judging because it's not you? To help us understand, so understanding of human beings, understanding of yourself, understanding of people, understanding of your spouse. So help us understand people. The Family Systems Engineering uses the 4-car models, the 4-car configurations. The first car on my screen, you have the Hummer. The second car on my screen, you have the convertible. The third car, you have the truck. The fourth, you have the Ford. Now, if you look at these cars, they are very unique cars. They serve very unique purposes. We could be destroying the convertible if we expect the convertible to behave like the Hummer or to do the things the Hummer can do. Look at the Hummer, very rugged car. Only the height will tell you the places you can go to. Look at the truck. The things that the truck can carry, the convertible cannot carry. Even this Hummer with its ruggedity cannot take what the truck can take. See the Ford, and like no stress. Let me just be moving. I did not come here to make noise. Very efficient car. So if because you're a truck, you are harassing the convertible for not carrying so much load, excuse me, people are different. And difference, we need to understand if we want to thrive in relationships, that difference does not mean defects. But if you do not understand people and their differences, that difference will be your problem. Difference doesn't mean defects. But then you want to be sure that this difference that this person has, that this difference, whatever this person has that is making this person different from you, if you join yourself together with this person, you will live happily ever after. You want to be able to answer that question. And that's why understanding of self still comes first. If you do not understand people, you might mishandle them. If you don't understand this truck, you might mishandle this truck. If you don't understand the Hummer, you might mishandle the Hummer. So we're going to use these 4 different car configurations to explain the different temperament types that there are. Very quickly, just because I don't want to overshoot on time, I'm constraining myself hardly on time. So I would read through the profile of the intimidating Hummer. So we call the first personality that we're going to be talking about now the intimidating Hummer. So when you look at the Hummer car, it looks strong and commanding. It has presence. Even before it moves, you know the car is there. The sound alone, you know. And that's how this personality often shows up. The intimidating Hummer is usually bold, decisive, competitive, independent, direct, and strongly focused on results. This person often enters a difficult situation and quickly identifies what needs to be done. When other people are hesitating or waiting for agreement, the intimidating Hummer may already be moving. They are often willing to take risks and may not easily be discouraged by opposition. In fact, opposition motivates the intimidating Hummer. When they are faced with taxing situations, they don't cower. They'll tell themselves, well, somebody has to take this responsibility. Somebody has to make a difficult decision at this time, and I'm going to be the person. When they get to go ahead, then they get to go ahead. And when they get to go ahead quickly, they tell themselves, well, I'm not trying to be pushy here. I'm not trying to be hard here, but I just want to get this done. I'm not trying to control anybody. I'm only providing the needed direction. I'm not disrespectful. I'm only saying what needs to be said. They are leaders and they are very results driven. But it will be interesting to hear the internal conversation they have within themselves. They say things like, you think I'm too hard and strict, but they do not understand that I want to be effective and produce results. I may appear autocratic and unemotional, but I also have feelings. I'm willing to change if anyone is willing to help me. But anyway, I accept myself because the person you see is connected to my purpose. Period. The intimidating Homer sees himself or herself, because it can be a man, it can be a woman, sees himself or herself as very bold and confident. But guess what? Remember we said that we see other people, we give excuses for ourselves, we see ourselves with mercy, and we see other people through the eyes of judgment. Guess what other people think of the intimidating Homer? Another person would think of the intimidating Homer as proud and arrogant, while they are seeing themselves as bold and confident. The intimidating Homer sees his or herself as direct. I will tell you the way it is. But another person sees intimidating Homer as rude. The intimidating Homer sees himself as decisive. But another person will see the intimidating Homer as pushy. The intimidating Homer will see him or herself, or his or herself, as focused on results, like let's get this thing done. But other people will be looking at the Homer, the intimidating Homer, like this person doesn't just care about people. Now, in a relationship, the intimidating Homer may genuinely be trying to move the family forward, while the spouse may be feeling overpowered by his or her strength. They may believe that they are providing direction, while the other person feels like they are not allowing them to have an opinion. If you're in a relationship with an intimidating Homer, know that they often appreciate clarity, honesty, competence, responsibility, and respect. Respect with capital letter. They tend to prefer that you say what you mean than communicating directly and expect them to guess. Mind you, this can be a man or a woman. But then, understanding yourself, if you are an intimidating Homer, does not excuse you to use your weaknesses or to allow your weaknesses to make another person's life miserable. Understanding yourself should give you direction, make you love yourself, but also make you take responsibility for your growth. So for the intimidating Homer, you need to develop patience, because not everybody processes information or makes decisions at the same speed as you. You need to develop listening skill. And listening is not waiting for the other person to finish so that you can give your own conclusion. It is trying to understand what the person is saying, what the person is feeling, and what the person needs. You need to also build gentleness as a skill. Gentleness is not weakness. Hello, intimidating Homer. You can be strong without being harsh. You can be clear without being demeaning, and you can lead without being controlling. Another very important area the intimidating Homer would need to develop is emotional awareness. Right? You want to always ask, how is my strength being experienced by the people closest to me? Sometimes everybody outside celebrates the intimidating Homer's leadership, yes, while the people at home are afraid to speak to the intimidating Homer. And that's not healthy leadership. So let's move on. While the Homer brings strength and leadership, the next personality we're going to be talking about is the creative convertible. Take a look at this convertible. What does it communicate to you? You know, when you look at a convertible, you think about freedom, fun, flamboyance, excitement. You know, the creative convertible is lively. It attracts attention. It gives you the feeling that anything is possible. This world cannot be that serious. And that's how this personality often shows up. They bring energy to the room. You know, when other people see limitations, they see possibilities. While others are saying this thing may not work, they're saying, why not? Let's try it. They're adventurous. They like to figure things out. They tell themselves, it's not a problem. We can work something out. Let's just see how it goes. Then they move. Then when people begin to question their decisions, because they are not overthinking things, the creative convertible is not about to overthink. So when people begin to question their decisions or ask for too many details, they tell themselves again, I'm not being careless. You know, I know what I'm doing. It's just that I'm only open to possibilities. I'm not unserious. I just do not believe that life has to be too rigid. I'm not inconsistent. I'm flexible. I'm not talking too much. I'm just expressing myself. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. I'm just helping you see the picture better. They are creative and driven by possibilities, but it will be interesting to hear the internal conversation that they have with themselves. They say things like this to themselves. People think I'm unserious, and some think I'm not disciplined, but they also know they cannot ignore my presence and my success. People like me because I bring life wherever I go. I love fun, although I sometimes overdo it. I know I have repeated some of my mistakes. I know I sometimes begin things and do not finish them. I really need help, but please do not reject me. Unless I forget, please do not give me too many rules and regulations. I need room to breathe. I need room to express myself. I need room to explore. So you see, the creative Homer considers his or herself as optimistic. Another person is looking at the creative Homer and saying, this person is just too realistic. She considers herself flexible. But another person is saying, you're so unfocused. You cannot focus on one thing. You cannot start something and finish it. They are spontaneous. Another person will say they are impulsive. They consider themselves expressive. Another person will say, this one talks too much. They consider themselves persuasive. Another person will say, this person is over-exaggerating. And then this one, they consider themselves charming. But another person will see them as manipulative. They consider themselves imaginative. Another person may see them as distractible. They consider themselves fun-loving. Another person may see them as unserious. So in a relationship, the creative convertible may genuinely believe they are bringing joy and excitement and fresh ideas into the family, while the spouse may be feeling unsettled. They may see a new opportunity today and immediately want the family to change direction. And the spouse may be wondering, what happened to the last thing we started? We have not even finished the plan. Have we even considered the cost of this new thing? Carry the responsibility if it doesn't work, and the creative Homer is not thinking about all those things. They'll be wondering, why are you always negative? You always want to kill my ideas. Why can't you just be excited with me? But the other person may not be trying to kill their ideas. They are simply thinking about timing, thinking about cost, thinking about consequences, thinking about structure, thinking about the impact on the family. But the creative Homer may also be promising things in excitement at the moment. They are the ones that will tell you all the amazing things they would do because they're excited. And then when they say it, they genuinely mean it. But when the excitement reduces, they may struggle to follow through. The issue is not always that they do not care. Sometimes they simply do not pause to consider what they had, whether they had the time or they had the capacity or they had the resources or the discipline to carry it through. And this may begin to affect trust in their relationships. Okay, so if you are in a relationship with the creative Homer, I want to move quickly. So first thing, before I get there, what the creative convertible would need to develop is discipline. Because freedom without responsibility eventually becomes chaos. You want to develop discipline. Not every rule is an attempt to control you. Okay, not every rule is an attempt to control. You want to build discipline, and you want to also build consistency. It's not enough to begin something with excitement and you walk away from it. You want to follow through on your commitments. And then, yes, you also want to develop the ability of self-control, to restrain yourself. It's not everything that you want to jump on. It's not everything you need to buy, because it also shows up in their buying behaviors. It's not everything you like that you should buy. So you want to build your ability to pause and think through the consequences of your actions or your decisions. Okay, excitement must learn responsibility. So let your excitement not drive you too far that you do not think through things. Let's go on to the next personality. The next temperament type is the dependable truck. Take a look at the truck. Unique in its sense. It can carry responsibility. When you look at the truck, you think a car that has strength, a car that is stable, a car that is reliable. Its ability to carry weight is amazing. It may not always be the most attractive, obviously. I know I really used to like the truck, maybe because of my engineering background. I would just imagine my helmets behind the truck. Like, I would tell myself, if I don't buy a truck, oh my God. So you look at the truck, very amazing. And that's how this personality shows up. The dependable truck is usually calm, patient, loyal, accepting, supportive, service-oriented, and dependable. They are often the people who stay. When situations become difficult, they do not easily walk away. When other people are agitated, they try to keep the peace. When responsibility needs to be carried, they often carry it quietly. They tell themselves, somebody has to remain calm. Somebody has to make this situation not get worse. I do not want unnecessary trouble, so they hold back. Then when people are pressuring them to speak, to confront issues, or to make decisions quickly, they tell themselves again, look, I am not weak. I know what I'm doing. I just do not like conflict. I'm not slow. I just need time to process what's going on. I'm not avoiding the issue. I'm just trying to preserve peace. I don't like trouble. I'm not saying nothing because I do not care. I just do not want things to go out of hand. They are peace-loving and driven by stability. But it will be interesting to hear the internal conversation they have within themselves. They say things like, I am a peacemaker. I love to understand and relate with people. It is not difficult for me to accept people and believe in them. I know I sometimes find it difficult to confront people when I ought to. I do not enjoy too much change. There may not be so much noise around me, but I love to serve people. The best way to enjoy me is not to shout at me because I will withdraw. But you can be sure that I am one of the most dependable human beings you would ever meet. So while the dependable truck considers his or herself, or him or herself, pardon my English, considers him or herself or his or herself calm, other people may see the dependable truck as unconcerned. The dependable truck would consider herself peaceful. Other people may see them as avoidant. They may consider themselves patient. Other people may see them as slow. They may consider themselves accepting. Other people may see them as too tolerant. They may consider themselves dependable. Other people may see them and take them for granted. They may consider themselves careful with conflict, and other people may see them as passive. They may consider themselves stable, and others may see them as resistant to change. In a relationship, the dependable truck may genuinely be trying to preserve peace while the spouse may be feeling shut out. They may believe they are preventing an argument while the other person feels they are refusing to communicate. They may say, I do not want us to quarrel, but the spouse may be saying, we are not resolving anything. Speak up. The dependable truck may remain quiet because they do not want the situation to become worse. But over time, the silence begins to grow or create a distance. The other person may not know what they are thinking. They may not know what they need. They may not know that resentment is already building. Then one day, the dependable truck may suddenly say, I have been unhappy for a long time. And the spouse may ask, why didn't you say anything? They may respond, I didn't want trouble. But avoiding the conversation did not remove the problem. It only postponed it. So if you are in a relationship with a dependable truck, know that they often appreciate calm communication. They appreciate patience. Emotional safety is a big deal for them. They appreciate appreciation, like they want you to appreciate them. They might not say it, but they love it. And they appreciate time to process things. They may not express, or they may not respond well to shouting. They may not respond well to insults, to pressure, or aggressive confrontation. If you shout at them, they may withdraw. If you demand immediate response, they may become even quieter. Sometimes they need time to process before they can explain what they think or feel. That does not always mean they are refusing to engage. They also need appreciation. So, for the dependable truck, if you are a dependable truck, you need to develop assertiveness. Being kind doesn't mean you should have no boundaries. Being peaceful doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to say no. There are times you want to clearly say no, and your no is a complete statement. You also want to develop healthy confrontation. Some conversations are uncomfortable, but they are necessary to have. You cannot be in a relationship and keep avoiding certain conversations because you know yourself, resentment is already building. Now you want to develop the ability to express your needs. You don't expect that your spouse knows what you need. They are not in your mind. You want to clearly state what you need and not be using indirect cues. Then you also want to be honest emotionally. Stop hiding or suppressing your feelings. Do not keep everything inside until resentment has grown. You need courage to speak because peace is not the absence of difficult conversations. Peace must not become avoidance. So, let's go to the next person, the next temperament type, and this will be the last we'll be talking about, is a systematic Ford. When you look at the Ford car, you think about structure, you think about order, you think about accuracy and reliability. It's not trying to impress you with too much drama. It just wants to function well. It wants things to be done properly. And that's often how this temperament type shows up. The systematic Ford is usually careful, private, observant, analytical, detail-oriented, and committed to high standards. They often notice what other people miss. When other people are rushing, they're asking, have we checked everything? Is this information correct? What could go wrong? Have we followed the right process? When they are faced with a decision, they do not like to move carelessly. They tell themselves, we need to think this through. We should not make an avoidable mistake. We need the right information before we move. So they rather pause. Then when people begin to accuse them of overthinking or being too rigid, they tell themselves again, I'm not trying to delay things. I just want us to do it properly. I'm not being negative. I'm only considering the risk. I'm not being difficult. I need accurate information. I'm not too quiet. I'm processing. I'm not trying to criticize you. I just want the standards to improve. They are systematic and driven by accuracy, but it would be interesting to hear the internal conversation that they have with themselves. They say things like, I do not offer too much information about myself because I am rather internal than reserved. I love high standards. It feels good when due process is followed. I do not enjoy careless or poorly thought out decisions. If you want to get along with me, be thorough. Make your presentation with accuracy. Give me facts. Do not expect me to accept something because everybody else has accepted it. And mind you, even after you present it, I may still go and research it myself. So while the systematic Ford thinks that he or she is thorough, they think they are thorough, other people may see them as too critical. They think they are careful, other people may see them as overthinking. They think they are realistic, other people may see them as negative. They think they are private, other people may see them as emotionally distant. They think they are accurate, other people may see them as rigid. They think they are committed to standards, other people see them as difficult to please. They think they are thoughtful, other people may see them as slow to act. They feel they are observant, other people may see them as always looking for fault. So if you're in a relationship with a systematic Ford, the systematic Ford may genuinely believe they are helping the family avoid mistakes, while the spouse may be feeling constantly criticized. They may believe they are improving the standard, while the other person feels like nothing they do is ever good enough. The spouse may make an effort, and the first thing the systematic Ford notices is what was missing. A meal may be well prepared, and instead of first acknowledging the efforts, they may say, there's too much salt, or the plate, why did you use this plate? A task may be completed, and they may immediately say the part that was not done properly. A child may even bring home an excellent result. In almost every subject, the first question they will ask is that particular subject that they did not get 100%. So over time, the people around them may begin to feel that they are only seeing when something is wrong. So the systematic Ford may also move too quickly into analysis, even when someone is hurting. Now, for the systematic Ford, if you are a systematic Ford, you want to develop empathy. Being correct is not the only goal in a relationship. You can be factually right and still be relationally damaging. So put your facts down sometimes. Then you also want to develop warmth. Appreciation should not remain inside your head. And you know that these people are very appreciative, but they don't get to say it. So to work on yourself, you want to work on verbalizing your thank yous, verbalizing your admiration of people. And then you want to work on flexibility. Not everything will go according to plan. People make mistakes. Marriages require adjustment. Even when children begin to come, things can be unpredictable. So you want to be flexible. You want to also be able to express your emotions. You want to also be able to express compassion before you begin to correct anything. Train your eyes to appreciate or see what is good first before you see the one they did not do well. Okay, so that is it about the 4 personality types. I'm sure you're seeing yourself somewhere or you're seeing your spouse somewhere, but please let me say this. We are all a unique combination. You are a unique combination. Your spouse is a unique combination. For example, somebody can be a combination of a Hummer and a convertible. But somebody who is a 60% Hummer and 40% convertible, and another person who is a 30% intimidating Hummer and a 70% creative convertible would have some differences in their behaviors. And guess what? You can also be a combination of the four, but in different percentages. And that's why in understanding yourself, you don't want to, because I've read profile now, I am a this, I am a that. You might not show entirely all that has been spoken. But that's why if you hear all the coaches speak, we always tell you of assessments. We consider ourselves as doctors. We don't prescribe drugs if you don't go through certain tests, right? So through assessments, we'll be able to tell that, okay, this is your combination across all the personalities, because most times you have a dose of all of them, but maybe one or two becomes predominant. So through assessments, you are going to understand yourself better. And then you don't also want to, the next person you don't want to assume is what your spouse is as well. And that's why we encourage that you seek necessary help. Don't assume things. Like now, what I started with saying we treat ourselves with mercy and others with judgment is that as I'm reading this thing now, maybe it's your spouse because of that natural tendency. So it's your spouse. That thing your spouse is supposed to work on is now glaring at you. Calm down. You're here for yourself first. So make sure that you're taking your own notes for yourself. And then you're not trying to take another person's notes. So beyond liking someone, that I love this person makes my heart go, To build a healthy marriage, you want to ask deeper questions. One very important question is, are we seeking to understand each other? Because you see, this is the root of misunderstanding. If you did not commit from day one to actively understand yourselves, are we growing together? Because if you look at all the different traits that I just described, none of them is bad. But do you know that with in fact, in life, at different seasons or different phases or different situations in life, we are supposed to, or we should be able to bring out certain characters. There are cases that would demand your leadership skills. There are cases that will demand your ability to be systematic. There are cases that will demand your fun and expression. So can you see that personal development is supposed to help you up your game in the different traits? So you want to commit to growing together. So beyond that, you like somebody, please look at yourself in the eye. Please, are we really going to grow together? Are you willing to grow with me? Are we building the same future together? That's where your vision, Coach Emily talked about values. You need to be sure that your values align. And for the people who are already married and they are wondering, so we that do not know all these things now, what's our own? My dear, any day that you see and you know and you understand, you have the freedom to evolve. So whatever you're hearing today, tell yourself, I have heard it today. What am I going to do differently? Pick yourself back again. Start to have those conversations. Take yourself, if you need to seek assistance, and begin to understand yourself, understand your spouse, and begin to grow. It even presents a beautiful beginning for you. You want to share what you're hearing with your spouse and start to grow together and start to envisage the kind of future you want to build together. Let me say this. Self-awareness must lead to self-leadership. Temperament explains you, but it doesn't excuse you. That's the way I am. The way I don't like that statement. It doesn't excuse you. You cannot use your weakness to terrorize another person because that's the way you are. So first thing, you want to recognize who you are, how you behave, notice your patterns. Don't excuse yourself because of the way you were brought up. Take responsibility at this point of your life as a responsible adult that wants to build a responsible home or a thriving home, and begin to develop yourself. We've talked about temperament today. There are different layers that come into an individual that empowers the individual to make a healthy home. Coach Emily talked about your engineering. Now, she talked about it generally, but there are tools that we have that will help you double click on your own personal engineering, that by the time you finish, the way you will see yourself in fact, that would access your beliefs, your reactions, your expectations based on the things that have come into you. Another very important part is that, remember, all these things don't excuse you. So you want to now begin to strategize on your re-engineering. That's the work we now have to do. Certain things have engineered you. but now you want to work on what needs to be rebuilt, what needs to be corrected, what needs to be reshaped. And then self-leadership is where you now go, taking responsibility for your growth. And this is because it is you that you carry into your relationships. It is you that you carry into marriage. It is you that you carry into that business. It is you that you carry into parenting. It is you that you carry into relationship. And that's why from yesterday, it seemed like we called you for a relationship, but we have been talking about you. Because it is you express yourself in all of these areas. That marriage is working, it's you. That marriage is not working, it's you. So you carry yourself everywhere that you go. So it is when an individual is self-aware and self-led that individual is able to build a healthy relationship, that individual is able to parent and intentionally lead a family. Now, in family leadership, you take it as a business. Every business has a vision. Every business has a goal. Every business has a mission. Every business has values. Every business has what is driving them. You should treat your family as such. It is when you're able to do that that you can actually intentionally raise your children so that they also become self-aware and self-led. And let me say this, you don't wait to finish, say, let me finish being aware of myself and finish leading myself before I get married. Or let me finish making sure that my marriage is healthy and thriving before I begin to do family leadership. No, you do all. But whichever phase you are, you just want to commit to get every ball rolling. If you're already married, then pick up on self-awareness immediately. Pick up on working on your marriage, pick up on intentional family leadership, pick up on intentional parenting, because all these balls have to keep moving. So, what kind of family are you building? That's where the intentional family leadership comes in. Whether you are single or whether you are married, this is the time you want to sit down and begin to craft the identity of your family. See, without vision, you'll go nowhere. And that's the mistake a lot of people have had in marriage. Why did you get married? What kind of family are you building? If you never had that vision or that identity in front of you, you'll be fighting over things that you don't need to fight about. And because you've joined us up until now, we don't want to leave you with all of this. We want you to actually be able to craft the kind of family that you desire or the kind of family that you're already building and begin to put some things into place. If you're already married or you hope to get married, whether you're single or you're engaged. In fact, if you're single, I so envy you. Because when you do this, it will be easy for you to see whether the person coming or the person you are going to meet fits into what you're building. So you don't carry wood and put inside where what you need is rod rather. Or you don't put a rod where what you needed was a wood. So in understanding the kind of family you want to build, what's important is your mission. I always say to people, you exist for more than living in a good house and eating good food. Why do you exist as a family? The same way as individuals, we get to a point we begin to seek purpose. As a family, you want to start from why do we exist as a family? That becomes your mission, then your vision, then your values. Your values refer to the filters or the filters in which you make decisions. Your values will determine the school that you allow your children go to or the neighborhood you live in. What culture do you want to breed in your family? Your culture will train your children. Your culture will culture you. Then we talk about things like the family creed. So what we have done, thanks to the wise wives, so we have compiled this into a template, which we're going to give to everybody who has followed us up until now. Let me see how many we are here. Thank you. We are like 44 people here. So we want to give you this, and we don't want you to just take it as one of those things. Like your legacy might just be dependent on what you do with this workbook. So you want to take it, we're going to give it to everybody who is here, not everybody who registered, everybody who is here. We're going to give it to everybody who is here so that after now you will sit with it and begin to craft the family identity that you need. But before we get there, help us understand what this session has done for you. Please, let's start from the chat box. In the chat, how has this been? We will take questions. I'm not done. How has this session been for you? People are crying. Oh, okay. Maybe it was an old. Okay, I'm just looking through this chat. Forgive me. Please let me know, how has this been for you? Eye-opening, alrighty. Refreshing, so educative. Thank you. Very insightful, thought-provoking. Bless God. Insightful. It's been transformational. Okay. It's important for us to know because we are doing this thing out of very loaded. Thank you. Yes, I'm crying. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's eye-opening. I'm sorry. We won't leave you crying, please. Very helpful. Okay. So, because we're doing this thing as a give back to humanity, it's important for us to know what exactly we want to score ourselves, how far we have come, what exactly has shifted for you. So, please, we need you. We'll give you 5 minutes. We're going to drop a post assessment. If you registered for this session, you would have taken a pre-session assessment. You're going to be having similar questions to answer. But for some of you, you notice that your answers might be different, right? Based on what has happened through the session. So please, I will give you 5 minutes to fill the link is in the chat now. Please click on it. Please click on it. I'll give you 5 minutes to give us your post assessment, your post session. I don't know the right English, but shall click on that link and fill it. Thank you. So once you complete your assessment, and why I said it's just for people here, because it's just people here who will get to do this. Once you complete your assessment, then you will see a link after submitting to download this workbook. Once you complete it, please take note of the last page after you click submit. Click on the link you see on the last page. It will take you to where you download the workbook. We will take questions, so you can just, but we want you to do the assessments first. After now, the next thing we'll go into is questions, depending on how long we have left. So please, we are monitoring the forms. So please, we want to be sure that at least 40 people have responded to the forms before we go into Q&A. Thank you. Please, if you're done, you could just drop in the chat that you're done. I'm not able to switch screens at the moment, so you could just drop in the chat that you're done.
In this sacred space, everything is divine. It's the scent of the incense, the sound of the song, a refuge for the family when the day has been long. I'm curating the atmosphere, guarding the door. Whatever is heavy, we leave it at the floor. There's order in the spirit, there's beauty in the room. Oh, a place where the fruit of the spirit can bloom. Peace be still, peace be still in this kitchen. Peace be still, every corner, every room, consecrated for you, consecrated for you, consecrated for you. Sacred spaces, this home is a temple. Light a little candle, open up the word. Let the peace of God be the only thing that's heard. I'm sanctifying the hallway, I'm blessing the bed, putting a cushion for every weary head. This isn't just a building, it's a hiding place, a physical manifestation of His saving grace. We're building a sanctuary, wall by wall, a place where the presence can stand tall. No shadows of the world can cross this line. In this sacred space, everything is divine. It's the scent of the incense, the sound of the song, a refuge for the family when the day has been long. I'm curating the atmosphere, guarding the door. Whatever is heavy, we leave it at the floor. There's order in the spirit, there's beauty in the room. Oh, a place where the fruit of the spirit can bloom. Peace be still, peace be still in this kitchen. Peace be still, every corner, every room, consecrated for you, consecrated for you, consecrated for you. Sacred spaces, this home is a temple.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you, thank you. I see the responses coming in. Thank you. All right, so let me see what we have on the chats before we move. Thank you for telling us what this has meant to you. Someone said, okay, Madam Dorothy, think you're sorted now, right? Okay, done. I see a number of done. Amazing. We are grateful too. We're grateful too. So, all right, so please be sure to click on the link just after you finish filling it up so that you can get to download your blueprints. Now, we know that this has sparked a lot of thoughts in your mind. We already know. And we would not throw you into the waters that way. So please, if you need support, Emily Sarah can support you if you need support with single coaching or in premarital support. There is somebody in your life, or there is somebody whose life you want to enter, and you want to be sure that you have done the needful. You want to assess yourselves, you want to begin to have certain conversations, you want to determine what kind of home do we want to build. She has done it for a number of people, and she will be glad to be in your life. All right, so you can reach out to her. Or if you're single, you want to prepare for marriage, you want to check your marriage readiness. I hear a number of singles ask me, how do I know I'm ready for marriage? She's your go-to person. Then you're already married, you're in a relationship, you want to assess your relationship to know whether you're aligned, or you want to strengthen your connection as a married person. I know that in this part of the world, for some people, they might not seek help like together as a couple. But if you're a woman or you're a man and you feel that from what you've heard, you need some support in your marriage, please feel free to reach out to Emily Sarah. And I can tell you, your marriage would definitely experience a leap forward. So for me, how can I support you? Or how would I love to support you? If you're interested in self-leadership, you've looked at yourself, you've seen the areas that you want to improve, or you're wondering, who am I? What's my life about? You want to grow intentionally. You want to be able to lead yourself so that you can show up powerfully in marriage, outside of marriage, in life generally. Then I'll be happy to do that. And also for intentional family leadership, I want families to build systems that help them treat their family as a business, as it should be. Then also for intentional parenting, I would be glad to help you ensure that your children grow up to be self-aware and ready to live life intentionally. So these are the areas that I'll be happy to support you. So we'll drop our details on the chat. I personally have a program on building an intentional family where I take parents through a challenge to build that family. There's something about like what we've is what I would help you achieve within that system. So our details will be shared maybe on the chat box or in the WhatsApp group. So at any point in time you want our support, please feel free. If you were here yesterday, you would have heard Coach Isaac. He majors on excellent marriage. Like you want your marriage to go boom. So let's take your questions. I'll stop sharing so that I can see well. We'll take the first few questions. Dropping your questions in the chat and we'll see how we can respond. I mean the WhatsApp group, but for now, because of time, we'll just take a few so that we can go. Please let me take a look at that chat. Okay, I saw before we started filling the form, so let me. Or if you can, I'm now looking for one. How best let's understand us. Based off the personalities you've demonstrated, how best can we also do better in meeting others or in making others understand us? Thank you so much, Tasila. This is a very, very valid and interesting question. So the first thing is understanding yourself. In fact, there's something that will help people do. You see how every product have manual. You have your own product manual, well thought out, well written. To help people understand you, they cannot get into your head to understand you. You have to communicate. That's where clear communication comes in. You want to speak to them. You want them, maybe something happened or something does, introduce yourself, let them know who you are. So you have to speak clearly. And in helping people understand you, you have to learn how to speak without accusing them for being themselves. So somebody might have done something that is wrong or that doesn't go down well with you. You don't accuse them. You let them know that how it came off to you, what has happened, but then you don't accuse. Anybody you accuse would automatically defend himself. And you would have missed the opportunity to get the person to understand you. So you want to communicate clearly. Say what your expectations are. Say what you prefer. Say whatever it is does to you, or how whatever it is impacts you. So it's communication, clearly. Yes. Communication and how you treat yourself around people. You want to care for yourself and let it show that you treat yourself with dignity. All right. I hope I answered that question. Then another one says, let me see. Okay. Okay, so someone says, please, can I revive my marriage, which is at the verge of collapsing, with these tips? Thank you for your question. I don't know where your marriage is. I don't know at what verge it is. It is your assessment that is telling us that it's at the verge of collapsing. Your marriage can be revived. Yes, every marriage can move further, right? But what I would, if you ask me, what I would advise is that you should seek marriage coaching. A coach will do a better job to help you revive your marriage, because first they will understand where you are. There are lots of things we didn't talk about today. Depending on the two people involved and the motive in which they got married or why they got married, different marriage formations exist. So what a coach would help you do is to get to see what your marriage formation is and how to move it past that point towards where you want it to be. So yes, it can be revived, I agree, but not just tips. No, tips will not help you do that work. I must be honest with you. You want to seek coaching. Okay, please, how do you handle situations when you constantly feel misunderstood and seen as difficult? How do I say this? I'm going to assume you're talking about in marriage or maybe in your relationships with people. You know, how I see people, our relationship with people, is that it helps us to grow. So if you notice that people are always misunderstanding you, look at it again. Why are people always misunderstanding you? It cannot be the people's fault, because if it happens often, somebody is always misunderstanding you or people is always misunderstanding you, that means you're not clear, most likely. So you want to work on your ability to communicate your whatever it is you need to communicate. You want to be able to communicate it more clearly. And you too, if it's your spouse or a particular person, seek to understand the person so that you can communicate in a way that lands. Because there are certain people, if you come at them directly, they shut down. So this is the beauty of understanding people as well. So you want to first invest in understanding who is that person or who are these people misunderstanding me, so that you can learn the best way to communicate to them. And even while you're learning to communicate to them, you see that your own relationship skill is improving. Because you can do very little about what the other person does. Your responsibility is what you do and how you choose to respond to what other people do. So I want you to respond with learning, respond with growth, respond with commitment to understand people better and improve your ability to communicate and express yourself better. Yeah. If your partner's actions towards you is a form of abuse, should we still try to understand them because they were not like that in the beginning? If you're interested in the marriage, yes, please understand them. It would help. And seek help. I can't rule out that fact, because whatever you're sharing definitely does not cover the full story. But when you seek coaching, your coach will sit with you and get your full story. So please seek help. please seek help. Understanding is still the bedrock. Yes, I'm sure understanding will help, but seek the guidance of a professional. Okay, not people, but in a relationship, yes. So what I responded is still fine in that relationship. If your spouse is always misunderstanding you, then you want to seek to understand the person and then learn how you need to communicate with this particular person so that you can break that misunderstanding. Okay, please, how do you handle the situation when your spouse refuses to communicate and discuss some difficult conversations and would rather avoid than confront and still refuses to seek help? So maybe because I talked about understanding people, but I will still come back to understanding people, because now this is behavior. It's information for you. You don't want to use this information to attack your spouse. You refuse to communicate. You don't like to engage in difficult situations, and then you're attacking the spouse. It doesn't move the relationship forward. So this information you've got now should make you step back. How can I understand better what is producing this information? Because you see, when you understand people, you become empathetic. Your natural thoughts towards that person begins to readjust just by understanding the person before you even do anything else. If you understand that maybe this is this person's, maybe because of the way this person was brought up, there are certain things that went into this person's life, there are certain experiences this person has had, you know, if certain things have made this person the way he is or the way she is, it's not the person's fault. First thing that would do is to cause you to be empathetic. And if you've ever committed yourself to personal growth, you would tell you, in fact, how do I put it? If you've ever committed yourself to personal growth, you will see that growth is hard. To change yourself, to transform is hard. So you would need to now, from that perspective, give the person time, give the person grace, give the person patience. And now, because you're in a relationship with this person and you're interested in helping the person, you will now say, okay, at this point, what do I do to help this person? How do I relate with this person? You know, we've talked about the different personality types and how you can relate better with them. It is still your school to go to now understand the person, understand yourself, know how you can begin to, you know, communicate or relate with this person that will help the person open up. And in all of that, you're building skills. And this is why I love family, to be honest. Family helps you skill up. Because in family, you will see your weaknesses, other people's weaknesses will come at you, other people's, you know, it will help you skill up. So in doing all of these things, you see that you're now growing. When you leave home now and meet a boss that is like your spouse, relationship is better. So please see it as an opportunity to grow. And don't use that behavior as a weapon against your spouse. He's not refusing, and Coach Emily talked about how the meaning you attach to things. Now, if you see this behavior and you're saying he's refusing to communicate, somebody who is not empowered to communicate is not empowered to communicate. It's not that he has refused. So the meaning you read into what's happening makes the difference as well. So that would be the last question. If you still want to hear from us, you could do that via the chat for as long as that chat room remains. We'll decide how long it remains. I don't know if there's anything else, but Emily, Sarah.
I think you have sufficiently covered it. Grateful to everyone that has stayed right until the end. A very special thank you to our fellow coaches who are on the call and have spent their time with us. I commend every single one of us for being here and staying on. It's one thing to pay for webinars like this, but to show up on 2 days and your payment is your time really, really shows commitment to your own life. So we celebrate every single one of you for being here. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, for leaning in, taking notes, ensuring that you are making the connections in your own life. Because in the multitude of everything that we've heard here the past 2 days, there is something specific for you. And if the only thing you have heard is start with yourself, that is the place to begin and to begin working on. So a very big thank you once again. We honor you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We want us to take a picture before we go. So if you don't mind, you can turn on. I'm trying to allow people to unmute, allow people to start their video. So you can unmute, you can start your video. Please, let's see your faces. Yes, so just in case you're my neighbor, I can be sure. Thank you. Let's see your faces. I need to remove the spotlight from myself. Yeah. Let's see your faces. Thank you. Oh, Coach Nafusa, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my God, all the way. Thank you. I'm so honored. We feel deeply honored. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. See the beautiful faces. Oh, am I still spotlighted? I want to remove it from myself. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure whether I'm spotlighted. Thank you. I see all your beautiful faces. I would soon take the shots. I just want to be sure I'm not spotlighted. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I'm taking the first shot now. Thank you, Coach Isaac, for showing up again. You're just amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. I see Dorothy, Crystal, Nabulo, Miriam, Christy, Kubuyi, and all my friends from Zambia. I see people from Zambia, Canada, UK, US, Nigeria, Ghana. Thank you. We love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There was a registration from Morocco. Yes, I saw that as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're taking another shot. I hope I know how to move this to the next slide. Oh my God. Okay, I'm taking another shot. I hope I'm able to capture as much people. We're so honored. We're so grateful. We love you. And we pray that you would have the blissful marriage that you desire. You would have the blissful relationship that you desire. That because you have come here today, wherever you were in your relationship, you would definitely move to the next level in that relationship. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.